Can you breathe underwater? It's not like a fish, like how you can fully breathe, how they can fully breathe underwater and um, they have gills instead of lungs. You still have your lungs, so obviously you're still needing oxygen to survive. However, this spell does help you to breathe a little better and hold your breath longer, so you can be underwater for much greater time. So like for me, I can hold my breath for like, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 seconds, not a long time at all. But if I were to do this spell, I may be able to hold my breath for an entire 2 to 5 minutes. So it is a huge difference, but at one point you will need oxygen because you still have your lungs that need to pump blood to your heart, and yeah, more science, goodbye. How long will it take for the seafood and teeth symptoms to go away after you have the item off? Usually instantly. Maybe an hour or two after you take it off. It just really depends on you as a person, pretty much. And can you do a becoming a mermaid segment like you did with the fairy spell? I got this question a lot, and I'm sorry, but I just, me personally, I don't really have interest in becoming a mermaid. The only reason I even looked into mermaid spells was because of you guys, because you wanted it, and of course I'm going to give it to you guys because obviously I want you guys to be happy with what I put out. So that's the main reason I've been doing mermaid things, is for you guys. I myself do not find interest in it very much. I mean, I find interest in all this kind of stuff, but it's not something I would want to be. But maybe I can do the thing where I have my friend talk about her experience. That might help you guys out a little bit. But she also agreed that, you know, she already did the spell, so she doesn't want to, like, be on YouTube too much. So I don't know. I'll see what I can do for you guys, though. People were asking about religion with this spell, and like I always say, it will still work if you're religious. However, I wouldn't recommend it because there are a lot of things you cannot do for religious purposes that may prevent you from being accepted, or however you would word that, into your religion. So I would just stay away from it. But someone did comment on one of the things. Emmeline the Potato, I'll shout you out because you're actually answering quite a lot of questions. That I saw a couple of your comments, and she said, if you want to become a mermaid with the way that is sure to work but still obeys God's command, the shifting method is a great alternative. Pandora's Isle is a great shifting site. I heard about shifting, and it is a very long and hard process, but it's definitely a super cool process to do, and I could never ever explain it to you, and I could never ever help you guys do it because it's very difficult to understand. But I think it's a really great method if you're really, really interested in being a being a mermaid full-time, then I highly suggest that. So thank you for that. I got a lot of questions about shifting and comments about shifting and why I didn't choose to show you shifting, but that is mostly because it's not necessarily a spell. I practice spells and magic. I don't have anything to do with shape shifting or however you want to describe that. But yeah, I just, that's not my thing. So if you come over to my channel, you will see spells and magic and not physical mind shifting. There's no way to reverse the mermaid spell. The only thing you can do is not wear the item. But even if you don't wear the item, you're actually still a mermaid. But you can't be two things at the same time, like a mermaid and a fairy. Does that mean after doing the mermaid spell, you can't become anything else anymore? Or is it that if you don't wear the item anymore, you can do other spells? So, yes. The taking off the item and not wearing it is you reversing the spell. And you never have to do the spell again. If you do that, then you can just put it right back on. However, if you really, really, really want to be safe, you can always perform the universal reversal spell on this spell, and that might give you better chance at being 100% sure that your next spell will work. But definitely take the item off and don't wear it again, and you can become a fairy. But the second you put that item back on, you will lose all your fairy abilities, and you'll have to redo that spell again whenever you're not going to wear the item. I hope that helped. I know it's kind of confusing, sorry. But yeah, let's keep going. Someone asked how your tail comes when you touch water. Like, is it fast, instantly, or is it like a slow process? And that is actually a really good question. How my friend described it was kind of like, I know this is like the dumbest comparison ever, but it's kind of like how in Aquamarine, if you've ever seen that movie, how the second she touches water, her tail appears. It's kind of like that. You can see it forming, so it's not instantly like, bam, I have a tail, but it is pretty fast, if that answers your question. I also got a lot of questions about auras, and the fairy dust for this spell only determines your tail color. There's no I cannot speak tonight. I'm sorry. There's no auras necessarily for the mermaid spell, but there are different powers you can do to gain certain characteristics or certain powers with the mermaid spell, which I told you I was going to put videos up on that, but I'm just procrastinating it because I want to make sure it's the right information for you guys, and we only did a few, so we're not 100% skilled in that. We only know a few spells for that, but we will put those out there for you guys. Someone asked if you can communicate with sea creatures, and I don't think so. We didn't try, but just, there may be a spell to do so, but just doing the spell straight up, there is no possible way to do it, sadly. Some people were asking if the mermaid spell is like the fairy spell, where it is a lot of work and it's, kind of damaging to the soul, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I can't see that being a possibility, just because as a fairy, you're given a lot of, not rules, but it's just kind of like an unspoken rule where you should use your powers to help out nature and the people and the world. So fairies are doing a lot for the world and a lot of good for the world, and that's very energy consuming, time consuming, and mental or thought consuming, I guess. So that is why I found it so difficult, but I loved it being a fairy. I just needed a break and time to be my own person as I shift into adult life. As a child, it's a great thing to do, and I recommend it to all of you that can do it, because it's great to do. And there are more children fairies and there are adult fairies, but some people get a late start to it, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. I don't think mermaids do anything to benefit society in any way. It's just more for own personal use, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I would choose being a fairy over being a mermaid for that reason, and I don't believe it's hard to live as one, as to live as a mermaid. I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I'm probably so annoying in this video. I just, like, I took a nap and I just woke up. But yeah, that's why. Okay, that's all the questions I'm going to answer for today, just because a lot of the questions I'm scrolling through are the same and that I've already answered. So if you do have any questions that I didn't answer that are worth answering, now, seriously, if I answered it in this video, please don't ask down below, because it's just I'm gonna lose comments that I actually haven't answered. I'm not trying to be mean, it's just I see a lot of people comment on my Q&As, questions that they would have found the answer to if they had just watched the video. So please leave your comments down below that I didn't answer in this video that you really want to know. And also, something I wanted to mention is, if you do this spell, do not take pictures as a mermaid. Do not have someone take pictures of you. It's actually against the mermaid code. There's an unspoken, well, actually it's written in a book. But we found this out through a friend of ours. If you take a picture, or if someone takes a picture of you with your tail and you can visibly see the tail, both of you actually lose all magic ability forever, or for a limited amount of time. If you knew, if you didn't know, then you get a limited amount of time that you cannot use magic. But if you knew that you weren't supposed to and you did it anyway, then you will never be able to perform magic again. If a fairy takes a picture of a mermaid, there's no more fairy and no more mermaid. So I just really want to stress that you do not do that, and that is why we don't have any pictures of our friend. That's why you don't see any real pictures on the internet. I have seen real pictures of fairies, but I have never seen a picture of a mermaid, because it doesn't take, first of all, the picture doesn't get taken right. It's just the fact that you're trying to take a picture. Oh my god, these videos are so long. I probably just split this into 2 videos like I usually do. I'm talking so much, but yeah. Also, I decided a lot of people wanted to see a room tour, so I guess I'll do that when I get my new furniture, which should be soon. It's a Christmas present, but I haven't gotten it yet. But I will, and then I'll do a room tour. About me and the fairy experience are going to be 2 separate videos. Someone suggested a Draw My Life, which I thought was pretty interesting. Even though those are kind of outdated, I probably will do one, because that sounds really fun. So how we do Draw My Life. And yeah, if you guys have any other suggestions, leave them below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thank you.